All right, let's get into it. Today we're talking about something huge, something everyone's trying to figure out. What is AI actually going to do to our jobs? It feels like every single day there's a new headline. One says we're heading for a utopia, the next says the robots are taking over. So let's try to cut through all that noise.
I mean, this is the real question, isn't it? The one that's probably on your mind. There's a ton of excitement out there for sure. But let's be honest, there's also this real anxiety just under the surface. And you know what? It's completely understandable, especially when you start looking at the numbers.
And that's because, well, the numbers are all over the place. On one hand, you've got a massive report from Goldman Sachs saying generative AI could impact 300 million jobs. But then the World Economic Forum comes out and predicts AI is going to help create 69 million new jobs. So which one is it? Is it bad news or good news? The answer, it turns out, is kind of both. And that contradiction, that's what we're digging into today.
So here's how we're going to break this whole thing down. First, we'll look at the case for displacement. The automation threat. Then we'll flip it and explore the case for augmentation, AI as a tool that helps us. After that, we'll get into the real-world impact on different groups of people, and we'll wrap up with how we can all navigate this brand new world of work.
Okay, so let's tackle the scary part first, right? This is the perspective that really fuels a lot of the anxiety. The fear that AI is coming to automate jobs on a scale we've just never seen before. This is the displacement argument.
So you see this huge number, 300 million. And yeah, it's a headline grabber for sure. But the key phrase to really latch onto here is exposed to automation. Now, that doesn't automatically mean eliminated. What it means is that a big chunk of the tasks inside these jobs could potentially be done by AI. And that, of course, puts the roles themselves at risk.
And look, this isn't some sci-fi movie stuff that's decades away. As this quote from JP Morgan's chief U.S. economist points out, there are already signs that this is happening right now, especially for what we call knowledge workers, people like programmers, analysts, writers, basically people whose job is to think.
In fact, you can actually see this playing out in the data. Check this out. For years, hiring in key tech areas like cloud computing and web search was just climbing steadily up. But then, look at the end of 2022. It just hits a plateau, flatlines. So what happened right before that? ChatGPT was released to the public. Now, is that a coincidence? Maybe, but it's a pretty powerful correlation, you have to admit. So what kind of jobs are we really talking about here? Because this isn't just about factory robots anymore. The research from places like Goldman Sachs consistently points to white-collar jobs, roles that are heavy on repetitive, cognitive tasks. Think about customer service, answering the same questions over and over, or data entry for accountants, scripted calls for telemarketers, and even drafting standard documents for legal assistants.
But, okay, that's just one side of the coin. It's the scary side for sure, but it is not the whole picture. So let's pivot and look at the other side of the argument, the case for augmentation. The idea that AI doesn't replace us, but actually makes us way better at our jobs.
So what is augmentation? It's this idea that AI can handle all the boring, repetitive, tedious parts of our day, which frees us, the humans, up to focus on the stuff we're actually good at. Complex problem solving, creativity, strategy. It's about collaboration, not a competition.
And this is where the data gets really, really interesting. A working paper from Harvard Business School looked at millions of US job postings right after ChatGPT came out. For those jobs with high automation risk, postings actually fell by 17%. But, and this is the key part, for jobs where AI can help, what they call augmentation-prone jobs, postings shot up by 22%. So what does that tell you? It's huge. It means companies aren't just cutting jobs, they're actively hiring for roles that can work with this new technology. And why are they doing that? Simple. It's because this stuff actually works. A Nielsen study found a pretty staggering 66% jump in employee productivity when they brought in generative AI tools. I mean, think about it. When people get that much more efficient, it can drive serious growth, which in turn creates demand for more human workers, not fewer. And if you zoom out, the scale of this thing is just mind-boggling. This isn't just about a few companies becoming more efficient. McKinsey estimates that AI could pump up to $13 trillion into the global economy by 2030. That is a massive economic pie, big enough to create entire new industries and jobs that we can't even imagine yet. Okay, so we've got these two big ideas, displacement and augmentation, kind of in a tug of war in the job market. But what does that actually mean for real people right now? The truth is, the impact is definitely not being felt equally by everyone.
Well, when you dig into the numbers, it's clear this isn't affecting everyone the same way. Research shows younger workers, the ones just starting their careers in these exposed fields, are getting hit the hardest. Studies also show that occupations typically held by women and black workers are at a higher risk of being automated. And then there's this surprising twist from the Brookings Institution. Workers with a bachelor's degree are actually more exposed to AI than people with just a high school diploma. The big takeaway here is that this isn't a level playing field at all.
All right, so seeing how this is all shaking out, that brings us to the most important question of all. What are we supposed to do about it? Knowing all of this, how do we actually adapt?
Look, if there's one single thing to pull from all this research, it's this. The future of work is not going to be humans versus machines. It's going to be humans with machines. The ability to collaborate with AI, to use it as a powerful tool, that is quickly becoming one of the most critical skills you can have in pretty much any industry.
So, based on what the experts are saying, here's a game plan, a 3-step strategy to really thrive in this new world. First, you've got to embrace lifelong learning to keep your skills sharp. Second, double down on those uniquely human skills that AI just can't touch: creativity, critical thinking, teamwork. And third, be proactive. Don't wait. Start figuring out how AI is being used in your specific field today.
At the end of the day, AI is a tool. It's a really, really powerful one, but it's a tool. And just like the printing press or the internet, it's going to cause profound change. It's going to displace some jobs, for sure, but it's also going to augment countless others and create brand new ones. So the future isn't about humans versus AI, it's about humans with AI. And the only real question left is, what part are you going to play?